Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as we're going to see fairly average conditions over the next few days. But as we have alluded to in the past few videos, things are going to be hotting up through the weekend into the start of next week, and we have seen a pretty significant escalation within the models today, with temperatures on Monday peaking potentially around the 35-degree mark. Now, we haven't seen a major change in the overall pattern, but what we have seen is that air mass is slightly hotter and it engulfs slightly more of England and Wales, and the timings have shifted slightly. That air mass arriving slightly later, so it means Sunday isn't quite as hot as it was looking yesterday. But it means that peak air mass, the upper air temperatures above 20 degrees at 850 HPA, which is pretty ridiculous, looks to be arriving through Monday afternoon, or at least over our shores through Monday afternoon, which means those temperatures are going to be pretty insane indeed. Still a bit of uncertainty how long it lasts. We could see another hot day into Tuesday as well, but it's still too far away to say with any detail. We'll then have a look at the longer range, see what is in store for the middle part of August, as although yes, it is hotting up, it is a bit of a blip. This is not a major shift in pattern. This is going to be a couple of days of insane heat, and then we're back towards average or even below average once again. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, we've seen a relatively decent day, not been amazing. Quite a lot of cloud around and some on and off rain. You can see most of it's now exiting eastern England, but not too terrible. Temperatures around average for the time of year, into the low 20s, but for some further northwards, high teens. As we enter tomorrow, there will be some more heavier rain around, as we saw yesterday, in yesterday's video, that Thursday looks like the only real poor day of this week, as we do start to see more weather fronts coming in off the Atlantic. But then as we head into Friday, things improve, and then of course we head towards the really hot conditions through the weekend. Now, if you look at the temperatures, you can see I'm recording this around 10:30, and we are seeing temperatures not particularly warm tonight, quite fresh, and that is pretty pleasant. If I'm not going to lie, a lot of the time in the summer it can be pretty oppressive with those overnight temperatures, so not too bad at the moment. So do go on to have a look at the latest UKV. Now, we'll only be looking at the UKV today for those shorter term temperatures, as we are still about 4 or 5 days away from this real big heat arriving. But in the next couple of days, we will have a look at a more a bigger variety of models, just so we can get a better sort of overview of what the likely top temperatures are. Because I know sometimes the UKV can be a little off because it is only one run. Could be on the warm end, could be on the cool end, and sometimes it does mean that things change pretty rapidly within the model output for the UKV. So we will cover other runs, but we'll wait another day or two, as there are some higher resolution runs that only go out 3 or 4 days. So don't worry, we will cover other runs, but today we'll focus on the UKV, as that's the main run we use, and we'll have a look at what that is showing. If you start on precipitation, you can see through this afternoon and evening, but you see a bit of rain moving through, but nothing too crazy. As we head into Thursday, though, as I said, it's not going to be a particularly great day. Lots of rain moving in from the west. It doesn't look too heavy initially, but during the afternoon it could pep up through northern areas, and yeah, it could be pretty miserable indeed, with quite a few patches of very heavy rain there, oranges and reds appearing, which is pretty high rainfall rates. So yeah, not great through Thursday afternoon into the evening. And then as we head into Friday, things do improve, at least through the morning. It's a little bit cloudy, maybe a bit of on and off rain, but as we head into the lunchtime period, into the afternoon, it doesn't look too bad, and you see plenty of sunshine coming through, and you can see that temperatures will probably recover quite significantly there. As we enter Saturday, the wind direction does start to slowly shift. We do see a bit of rain through the early morning, but as we head into the afternoon, that all clears, and we do see a lot of sunshine. It looks really good. And then, as I said, the wind properly shifts, and we see a southerly flow. No air coming now off the Atlantic, all coming up from the south. And you can see by Sunday, things hotting up, lots of sunshine, we're under higher pressure. A little ridge is enveloping us. Again, it's not a massive high pressure system, but a ridge is enveloping most of the British Isles because it's bone dry, and it will be turning warm, maybe just touching hot conditions, depending on what you do class as that. But temperatures we'll have a look in a minute, will be widely mid-20s, some areas into the higher 20s. But it's really Monday where things get pretty ridiculous. You can see some thunderstorms in the north and west as we do start to see the very hot air slowly getting pushed away. And that's why there's uncertainty with what happens on Tuesday, because it could be pretty explosive there. If we do see this mix, see thunderstorms in the north and west, really quite horrible there. But in the southern and eastern quadrant of the country, it's going to be like an absolute furnace. Temperatures widely above 30 degrees and many areas into the mid-30s. We're almost lucky that it's mid-August. This happened a month ago in early July. Then I wouldn't be surprised to see temperatures a degree or two higher. I know that doesn't sound like a massive difference, but August now, we're about 6-7 weeks away from the peak sun strength, which was in towards the end of June. So we are slowly losing that daylight and we are losing that sun strength. It doesn't make a significant difference to the temperatures. We're still going to be into the 30s, but it does take a little edge off it, and maybe a couple of percent. So that's one thing that is a positive, very small positive, that it's not going to be quite as oppressive and ridiculously hot as if this was in July, for example. But really, that makes about a degree or two maybe of difference max. It is going to be, as I said, ridiculously hot though, regardless. If you look at those upper air temperatures, you can see through Friday, starting to turn back towards average, but nothing special. Doesn't look anything ridiculously good on the horizon. Warm air to our south, but that's expected during the summer months. As we head into Saturday, it starts to get a little bit warmer. Into Sunday, warmer further. Upper air temperatures starting to really rise in the far south, but the really hot air doesn't arrive until overnight, so we're actually not going to see it too much during the day. And then look at Monday, ridiculous air mass pushing in around the 20 to 24 degree mark at 850 HPA, but it is a one and done kind of day. You can see that hot air is getting pushed away by Monday evening, so I wouldn't be surprised for Tuesday if we're back all back down into the 20s once again. We'll have to wait and see, as this run doesn't quite cover it. But yeah, very interesting indeed. Do look at that max temperatures. You can see this afternoon, widely high teens towards the low 20s. Into Thursday, temperatures again high teens, low 20s, but a lot more cloud around, so probably feel a bit cooler. Into Friday, not too bad, temperatures rising slightly higher, low to maybe mid 20s, and then into Saturday, look at that, maybe mid to high 20s, and Sunday, again, similar temperatures, more widely mid 20s, maybe high 20s, could be a couple of degrees higher. Again, little shifts in the timings and cloud amounts, sun strength, things like that could alter these temperatures by a few degrees. I don't think it'll be 30 degrees or above on Sunday, but we could be a degree or two higher than this. And then you can see into Monday, temperatures, look at this, at 9 a.m. are already the peak of the day before. We're 26 degrees at 9 a.m. Ridiculous heat. Midday, widely touching 30 degrees, and by the middle of the afternoon, widely low to mid-30s. We're looking at maybe 33, 34, widespread peak temperatures there. Locally, wouldn't be surprised to see a 35. I'd almost expect to see a 35, maybe even a 36. So pretty ridiculous heat. As I've alluded to in the past videos, this sort of air mass is insane. This is almost record-breaking air mass. This is the sort of air mass that could deliver 40 degrees once again. But the caveat is, number one, we are in August, and I think the main issue is that this is only coming for one day. If we saw this air mass hang around for 2, 3, 4 days, then I think there is a very high chance that we got into the high 30s, and maybe a chance we got towards the 40 degree range. But I'm unsure what that exactly would happen, because of course we only have had one day where we've reached 40 degrees, or one heat wave where we've got up to that 40 degree mark, so we have very little experience exactly what it does take. We just know an insanely hot air mass in July produced 40 degrees. Could it happen in August? We'll have to wait and see. Again, don't think it will happen here, just because we've not got the longevity of this air mass, but the intensity is definitely there for at least a day. Pretty ridiculous indeed. You see how localised it is across England and into Wales there, and that is because the air is very hot and there's a very strong temperature gradient, and that's why into Tuesday, we could all be back into the mid-20s or low 20s once again. All depends on how quickly the cold front sweeps through and what's along that cold front. Bit of cloud, bit of rain as a slow transition, or a quick transition, instability and major thunderstorms. We'll have to wait and see. Now, just to finish the video, of course, most people will be interested in that heat next week. But if we do have a look at the longer range, just to keep update what is going on, you can see westerly winds at the moment. That heat spike arriving for a couple of days early next week. You see the GFS does push it away by Tuesday, and we're into much fresher air by Wednesday. So GFS has it coming and going very quickly. And then you can see more of a westerly flow as we head into the middle of the month. So much fresher conditions. Yes, the plausibility of another spike of heat potentially at times, but we're not expecting anything too major at this stage. And then as we head towards the end of the run, again, more potential spikes of heat. But then we're heading towards the end of August. So yes, we can still see hot conditions, but we are slowly running out of runway for summer. So by the end of August, those air masses are starting to cool down. And the one thing you can notice over Greenland is the re-emergence of the -10-degree isotherm. Now, we still have it over the North Pole, where it is starting to reform over the North Pole at the moment, coming and going, but we will see it returning to Greenland here by the end of August. And one of the other big things you'll notice is those 2 meter temperatures you can see starting to turn much colder across northern Canada. Again, the synoptics will benefit that, but it's also winter is coming. Unfortunately, that is what is going to happen. It happens, of course, every year, but we are very close to that inflection point where we do start to have a pretty rapid fall to shorter days and back towards colder conditions. Come October, November time, we'd start to see our first properly cold runs and start to see maybe a few snow spikes on the ensembles. Normally it's end of October, early November for London, sort of forecasting mid-November for those snow spikes. So yeah, not too far away, maybe about 8 or 9 weeks. It does sound long, but it isn't too far away if we whittle down the next couple of weeks. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, if you look at the latest GM, see what's in store for the next 10 days. Again, if we put on those upper air temperatures, you can see that insanely hot air mass arriving early next week. The GM has an even larger pocket of very hot air here. It actually envelops a large area similar to the UKV through the peak hours of Monday. But then look at Tuesday. We're all into much fresher conditions. And yes, the UKV here, the GM here, is producing low to mid-30s, maybe even mid-30s. Again, this is the midday temperature. Similar conditions on Tuesday. Look at that. Low 20s, almost a 10-degree temperature drop there from Monday to Tuesday. So, yeah, could be just one day of insane heat before it falls away again. If you compare to the ECMWF to finish, again, westerly flow, that hot spike arriving, and then as we head towards day 10, more of a flat westerly flow. Again, I don't think it will play out exactly like that towards the day 10 range. Things will crop up, but from the looks of it at the moment, it's turning a lot quieter. Westerly flow, on and off rain, but also some sunnier conditions and dry conditions where we see ridges of high pressure. Now, to finish by looking at the ensembles, you can see that spike of heat, pretty insane indeed, about 10 degrees above average, maybe getting towards 12 degrees above average, depending on exactly how hot that air mass does get. But yeah, pretty ridiculous indeed, and it's going to arrive and dissipate away in the space of about 24 to 36 hours. And you see, from the middle part of August, we're back towards average again. So yeah, it dissipates away quite quickly. Another interesting thing to look at is the precipitation spikes. There are quite a few precipitation spikes appearing for the peak of that heat and its demise, which again gives us indication that thunderstorms and instability are around on a lot of these ensemble members. We're very interested to see the UKV for tomorrow, as that will have Tuesday's data, and that will be able to show us, will we see a major thundery breakdown and how much heat will last for Tuesday. But yeah, massive spike of heat. And if we do compare it to the ECMWF, very similar, even hotter upper air temperatures. The majority of ensemble members here getting towards 18, 19, or even 20 degrees at 850 HPA, which, as I said, is pretty ridiculous indeed. We'll have to wait and see how it does play out, but it is looking very hot next Monday. So if you have got plans for Monday, maybe think about moving them to Sunday or Tuesday. Again, Tuesday could be a bit iffy with some thunderstorms, but it does look like, yes, Sunday and Tuesday will still be warm, hot days, but just nowhere near as oppressive and insane as Monday looks to be at the moment. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.